Good afternoon. 2 years ago, my biggest fear wasn't spiders, it wasn't planes, and it definitely wasn't failure. My biggest fear was people. More importantly, what people would think of me. I could feel it, like a hand on the back of my neck, pushing my head down every time I try to raise it. I would animate myself in real time, a little more honest, a little less bold, a little more acceptable. The day that changed was when I signed up late for a school talent show. This meant that I was dangerously unprepared. I knew that I'd be dancing, as at the time, I had a lot of experience dancing. But at that moment, I didn't know how to dance completely. 2 hours before the talent show, I was stressing. I was nervous of what other people would think of me. That's when my friend sat me down, and he said some words that I'll never forget. "Who do you think you are?" he said. I was already nervous and paranoid, so I let out all of my anger out on him. "You don't know what it's like to be in my position," I said. He explained to me, "No one cares enough about you to ever remember this moment in the future." It was really important for me to hear at the time, as it made me come to the realization that most people's attentions are too sporadic to ever be fully on you. For example, most of you sitting in front of me will most likely forget the speech in less than a week anyway. This is called the spotlight syndrome. The idea that everyone has their full attention onto you. In most cases, this is not true. They could be distracted, uninterested, or in most cases, just like unbothered to even hear you out in the first place. This was really important for my social anxiety at the time, but it wasn't a complete answer for me. I still had the problem of having public interactions at school and at home. And to combat that, I came to the conclusion that I have to shut my brain off completely while talking and to not overthink anything that I wanted to say. This was important at the time as it led me to develop a lot of confidence in the way I talked and also made me sound more genuine. This was due to the fact that instead of overthinking every little thing that I wanted to say and instead just blurting it out, it not only made me sound more confident, but also made me sound more genuine, as I'd be saying the things that most people are too afraid to say in the first place. Though, this came at its own risk as well. I also risked sounding unprofessional at times, often saying insensitive things in front of others. But this also made me realize something else. You can always apologize for misspeaking, but you're never going to be able to fully forgive yourself for being asocial. In most professional situations, being a public speaker and a good socializer is one of the most important traits a person could have. Coming off as likable will be an advantage in almost every possible scenario in your life. Whether it's a job interview, pitching a new idea, making new friends. For example, a woman called Elizabeth Holmes, a completely unremarkable woman. She's best known for building an $8 billion business just by convincing her investors that her non-existing blood technology worked. By telling her investors that this one drop of blood is going to revolutionize healthcare, she convinced people to invest a lot of money into her. Of course, fraud is never the answer, and it's never justified, but it just goes to show how far good public speaking and good charisma can take you in life. Though, in larger situations, such as public speaking, as I'm doing right now, or taking job interviews, or speaking to your boss is important, there are also smaller situations where you can be inhibited by not being a good socializer, such as being at a restaurant and not being able to order some food, or trying to make new friends at a new school. These are always going to be important situations in your life, and you're going to have to face these problems of trying to face these new people. And these interactions should not feel as a burden. They should feel as a privilege. And that's why you have to hone your speech, and you have to be confident in the words that you speak. That's all. Thank you.